Chicken clucks loudly. A tall-stained man, Mr. Ayo, walks through his large poultry farm. Workers scatter as he shouts orders. No stealing. If I catch anyone, you go to jail. Mopelola, his cheerful daughter, stands nearby, holding her books. Mopelola, Baba, why are you always hungry? Mr. Ayo, I am not angry. I just ate thieves. Now go and read your books. Mopelola nods and leaves. Mopelola sits on her bed, reading. Suddenly, the door bursts open. A young man, Tunde, rushes in, breathing hard. He wears a mask. He wears a black jacket with a red scarf. Mopelola, who are you? Tunde, please help me. The police are after me. Mopelola looks scared. Mopelola, why? Tunde, no time to explain. Just hide me. Mopelola hesitates but points to her wardrobe. Tunde hides there. Knock knock. 2 police officers stand at the door. Police officer 1, open the door. Mopelola opens it slowly. Police officer 2, we are looking for a cultist. Did anyone run in here? Mopelola, no sir. Nobody came here. The police searched the room but found nothing. Police officer 1, we found out you are lying. You will be in trouble. They leave. Mopelola locks the door. Tunde tiptoes to the door, trying to escape. Suddenly, there is a loud knock. Police officer 1, open this door. The police break in and catch Tunde. Police officer 2, you lied to us, young lady. You are both under arrest. Mopelola cries as they handcuff her and Tunde. Mopelola sits on a hard bench in a crowded prison cell. Her face is pale and filled with sadness. Women around her whisper and stare. Mopelola to herself, how did my life become like this? A prison guard approaches the cell. Prison guard, Mopelola Ayo, someone is here to see you. Mopelola looks up, hopeful. Mopelola enters and Mr. Ade, her father's old friend, tears fill her eyes. Mopelola, Uncle Ade? Mr. Ade, yes my dear, your father refused to come, so I came instead. Mopelola sits ashamed. Mopelola, Uncle, I did not do anything wrong. Mr. Ade, I know my dear, don't worry, I will bail you out. Mopelola cries softly. Mopelola steps out, wearing the same clothes she was arrested in. Mr. Ade waits for her by his car. Mr. Ade, come, let's go. Mopelola hesitates. Mopelola, Papa said I'm not welcome until I finish school. Mr. Ade, let's take it one step at a time. They drive up. Mopelola sits in the front of the university dean, a middle-aged woman with glasses. Dean, Mopelola, the university has decided to rusticate you. Mopelola, but why, ma? I'm not a cultist. Dean, the police found a cult member in your room. Even though you claim innocence, the rules are clear. Mopelola burst into tears. Mopelola, what will I do now? The dean shakes her head and writes something in a file. You can appeal in the future, but for now, you must leave. Mopelola stands outside the university gate, holding her suitcase tightly. Students walk past, whispering and pointing at her. She wipes her tears and looks into the distance. Mopelola to herself, where do I go now? A car pulls up. It's Mr. Ade. He rolls down the window and calls out, Mr. Ade, Mopelola, get in. Mopelola sits quietly as the car moves. Mr. Ade glances at her. Mr. Ade, I know this is hard, but you must stay strong. Mopelola, Uncle, Papa hates me now. He won't forgive me. Mr. Ade, your father is just stubborn, but deep down, he loves you. You have to prove to him that you can rise again. Mopelola nods slowly, her eyes fixed on the road. Mr. Ade's modest house comes into view. Mopelola steps out of the car, carrying a suitcase. Mr. Ade, you can stay here for now. My wife and I will take care of you. Mopelola, thank you, uncle. Mopelola sits on the couch, staring blankly. Mrs. Ade places a plate of food in her front. Mrs. Ade, eat something, my dear. Mopelola, I'm not hungry, ma. Mrs. Ade sits beside her. Mrs. Ade, Mopelola, I know this feels like the end, but it's not. God has a plan for you. Mopelola looks at her, tears in her eyes. Mopelola, what plan? I have lost everything. My school, my father's trust, my future. Mrs. Ade, you can start again. You are stronger than you think. Mr. Ade decided to take Mopelola to her father to beg for her. The grand living room is silent except for the tickling of a large clock on the wall. Mr. Richard Ayo, a stained, disciplined man, sits on a leather chair reading a newspaper. Mopelola sits quietly on a nearby couch, her head bowed. Mr. Ade, frustrated but composed, stands in front of Mr. Richmond. Mr. Ade, Richmond, Mopelola made a mistake. She is your daughter. You can't just throw her away like this. Mr. Richmond, without looking up, a mistake? A mistake that brought shame to my name and my family? She knew my rules. Ade, no lies, no disgrace. Mr. Ade, she is young. She did not think things through. You were once young too. Have you forgotten? Mr. Richmond slams the newspaper on the table, standing up. Mr. Richmond, don't lecture me about parenting. Ade, this is my family. I will not undo it. I will undo it my way. Mopelola's eyes fill with tears. She stands. Mopelola, Papa, please forgive me. I did not mean for any of this to happen. Mr. Richmond, I told you before, don't come back here until you have your university certificate. Until then, you are not my daughter. Mopelola burst into tears. Mr. Ade, angrily, Richmond, you are being too harsh. You think punishing her like this will fix anything? Mr. Richmond, pointing at the door. Stay out of my family business. Ade, you have done enough. Mr. Ade glares at him. His fist clench. Mr. Ade, fine. You want to act like you don't care? So be it. But don't forget, when you push people away, they might never come back. He grabs Mopelola's hand and leads her out of the house. Mr. Ade stomps to his car, muttering angrily. Mopelola follows, her face wet with tears. Mr. Ade, don't cry, Mopelola. If your father won't forgive you, that is his loss. You still have me. Mopelola, Uncle, he hates me. I don't know how to fix it. Mr. Ade, your father does not hate you, Mopelola. He's just too proud to admit he's hurt, but you don't need his forgiveness to rebuild your life. Mopelola nods slowly, wiping her tears. Mr. Ade sits at the dining table with Mrs. Ade. Mopelola is in the background staring out of the window. Mrs. Ade, how did it go? Mr. Ade, signing. He refused bluntly, told me to stay out of his business. Mrs. Ade shakes her head in disbelief. Mrs. Ade, Richmond has always been too stubborn for his own good. Mr. Ade, I don't care anymore. Mopelola is under my roof now, and I will do everything I can to help her succeed. Mr. Richmond stands by the window, looking out at the empty street. His face is unreadable, but there is a flicker of regret in his eyes. Mr. Richmond to himself, she must learn the hard way. He signs, turning back to his chair, but his expression betrays his inner conflict. Mopelola decided to go back to his father, thinking that when his father sees her, he will have a change of heart. Mopelola sits quietly in a corner, hoping her presence will soften her father's heart. Mr. Richmond enters, carrying a cup of tea. He notices her and frowns. Mr. Richmond, you are still here? I thought I made myself clear. Leave my house. Mopelola, Papa, I have nowhere else to go. Please let me stay. Mr. Richmond slams the cup on the table. Mr. Richmond, you think seeing you every day will change my mind? You brought disgrace to this family. I won't forgive you until you prove yourself. Mopelola wipes her tears, refusing to leave. Mopelola, I will stay. I will stay, Papa. I will stay until you forgive me. Mr. Richmond glides at her but says nothing. Lola sleeps on the couch, wrapped in a thin blanket. Mr. Richmond stands over her, his face hardened. Mr. Richmond, wake up. Mopelola stares confused. Mopelola, Papa, what's wrong? Mr. Richmond, I said leave my house now. Mopelola, but it's midnight. Where will I go? Mr. Richmond, that is not my problem. Leave before I call the police. Mopelola pleads with her eyes, but Mr. Richmond points to the door. She picks up a small bag and walks out, tears streaming down her face. Mopelola walks alone, shivering in the cold. The streets is deserted, except for the occasional sound of dogs barking in the distance. Suddenly, she hears footsteps behind her. She looks back and sees two men in hoods, approaching quickly. They are members of Lukman's gang. Man 1, that's her, Dele's girl. Man 2, this end tonight. Mopelola starts running, panicking in her eyes. The men chase her through dark streets. Mopelola takes a wrong turn and ends up in a dead end. She pressed her back against the wall, breathing heavily as the men closing. Man 1, nowhere to run, little girl. Mopelola falls to her knees, trembling. Mopelola, please, I'm not part of this. I don't even know where Dele is. The men laugh mockingly. Man 2, it does not matter. You helped him once, and that's enough. Suddenly, headlight flash into the alley. A car stretches to a halt, and Mr. Ade jumps out with a baton. Mr. Ade, get away from her. The men hesitate, then flee into the darkness. Mopelola sits in the passenger seat, sobbing uncontrollably. Mopelola, Uncle, they are going to kill me. I have nowhere to go. Mr. Ade, you are coming back to my house. I won't let anything happen to you. Mopelola, but Papa. Mr. Ade, cutting her off. Forget your father for now. You will regret this one day. Mrs. Ade opened the door, shocked to see Mopelola. Mrs. Ade, what happened? Mr. Ade, Richmond threw her out at midnight, and those court boys almost got her. Mrs. Ade shakes her head in disbelief, pulling Mopelola into a hug. Mrs. Ade, you are safe now, my dear. Mopelola breaks down, clutching Mrs. Ade tightly. Mopelola, thank you, ma. Mopelola sits at the dining table eating a small breakfast. Mr. Ade enters the room in a hurry, his phone pressed to his ear. Mr. Ade into the phone. I will leave immediately. Just keep him calm. He hangs up and grabs his suitcase from the corner of the room. Mopelola, Uncle, is everything okay? Mr. Ade, your cousin Tunde, there is trouble in Lagos and I need to go sort it out. Mopelola, how long will you be gone? Mr. Ade, a few days, maybe longer. I will try to come back as soon as I can. He walks over to Mopelola, placing hands on her shoulder. Mr. Ade, you will be okay here. Stay out of trouble and don't let anyone know where you are. Mopelola nods, but her expression shows worry. Dele approaches the house, his hands bandaged from his recent injuries. He knocks on the door hesitantly. Mopelola opens it, surprised to see him. Mopelola, Dele, what are you doing here? Dele, I just came to check on you. Are you okay? Mopelola steps aside, letting him in. Mopelola, Uncle Ade just left for Lagos. It's just me here now. Dele looks around, noticing the quietness of the house. Dele, so you are alone. It's not safe. Mopelola, look small gang might still be looking for you. Mopelola, I don't have anywhere else to go. Dele paused thinking. Dele, then come with me. I know a place where we can stay, at least for now. Mopelola hesitates, her face filled with doubt. Mopelola, live with you. Dele, I don't know. Dele, look, I hold you. I got you into this mess and I'm going to protect you. Trust me, Mopelola. After a moment, Mopelola nods reluctantly. Dele opens his door to a tiny model apartment. The room is partially furnished with a single couch, a table, and a small mattress on the floor. Dele, it's not much, but it's safe. Mopelola steps inside, looking around. Mopelola, it's fine, thank you, Dele. Dele pulls out a chair for her to sit on. Dele, you can take the mattress. I will sleep on the couch. Mopelola sits down. Exhaustion clears on her face. Mopelola, Dele, why are you doing this for me? Dele leans against the wall, crossing his arms. Dele, because I know what it is like to feel alone and because I care. Mopelola looks away, unsure how to respond. Dele and Mopelola cooking together in the small kitchen. Dele showing Mopelola how to lock the door securely. Mopelola cleaning the apartment, making it feel more like a home. Both of them laughing as they share a simple meal. Mopelola sits on the mattress staring at the ceiling. Dele sits on the couch watching her thoughtfully. Mopelola, do you think my father will ever forgive me? Dele hesitates before answering. Dele, maybe, but even if he does not, you can still rebuild your life. You are stronger than you think, Mopelola. Mopelola smiles faintly. Mopelola, thanks, Dele. Dele, get some rest. Tomorrow is a new day. The room is dimly light. Mopelola lies on the mattress, shivering. Her face is pale, and sweat beads on her forehead. Dele sits at a small table, working on something, but he notices her discomfort. Dele, Mopelola, are you okay? Mopelola weakly shakes her head. Mopelola, I feel cold and hot at the same time. Dele walks over, kneeling beside her. He places a hand on her forehead, then pulls back, alarmed. Dele, you are burning up. He quickly grabs a cloth, dapping it with water, and places it on her forehead. Mopelola groans softly, her body trembling. Mopelola, I'm so cold. Dele looks around the room, then pulls off his oversized shirt. He gently draps it over her. Dele, here, this will help. Mopelola clenches the shirt, her eyes meeting his. Mopelola weakly, thank you, Dele. Dele sits beside her, watching her closely. Dele, you need to rest. I will stay right here. Mopelola stares awake, still shivering. She sees Dele sitting on the floor beside her, dozing off. She reaches out, touching his hand. Mopelola, Dele. Dele wakes up, immediately alert. Dele, what is it? Do you need anything? Mopelola, I'm scared. What if I don't get better? Dele moves closer, his voice gently. Dele, you will. I won't let anything happen to you, Mopelola. Mopelola looks at him, tears in her eyes. Mopelola, why do you care so much? Dele hesitates, then speaks honest. Dele, because you are the only good thing that I've had in a long time. Their eyes lock, the tension between them start growing. Dele leans in slightly, and Mopelola does not pull away. Mopelola softly, Dele. He hesitates for a moment longer, then closes his distance. They share a tender kiss, which quickly deepens. The sunlight streams through the window. Mopelola wakes up, still wrapped in Dele's shirt. She looks over and sees Dele sitting in the couch, staring out of the window. She smiles softly, sitting up. Mopelola, good morning. Dele turns, a small smile playing on his lips. Dele, morning. How are you feeling? Mopelola, better, thanks you. Dele walks over, crouching in front of her. Dele, you scared me last night. I did not know if it will be okay. Mopelola reaches out, touching his face gently. Mopelola, I'm okay now, and thank you for everything. There is a moment of silence before Mopelola speaks again. Mopelola, Dele, I think I'm falling in love with you. Dele looks at her, surprised but pleased. Dele, Mopelola, you don't know how much that means to me. He takes her hands, holding it tightly. Dele, I will do everything I can to protect and make things right. Mopelola smiles, her heart full for the first time in a long while. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channels.